Good morning, everyone. All right, now we up. We live to make it another weekend to get out and kind of do some things. Hopefully, everybody got to do some things they wanted to do this weekend. So I just want to come to you shortly on this morning and talk to you and encourage you on purpose and what your purpose and my purpose in life can be totally different. But it's still that, you know what? God got a purpose for us, for all of our lives. And some of us, we might not have really reached that purpose yet or found out what it is. But every day that you rise to your feet, God is just letting you know I have purpose for you. With just giving us the next breath, just providing us with our next breath just shows purpose. And so on this morning, that was heavy on my heart from last night. Not last night, leading up to last night. Just thinking and thanking God for giving me a purpose in life. I look at the broadcast that I have, the podcast that I have, and several weeks ago I was just laying there thinking that in my mind, it's more to this, Electra, than what you might believe. And I woke up one morning and this is what God put on my mind. That podcast that I have granted you the opportunity to go on and allow, the opportunity for others to come on and speak and tell their stories. That podcast is a broadcast with a purpose. Listen to me closely. That podcast is a broadcast with a purpose. And everything that we do, what it reminded me of, whatever you do, no matter how small you might think it is, that's up to you. I'm not saying that you're saying what you're doing is small, but we don't see it like God sees it. And that's the beauty of it, because he put a purpose behind everything that he allows us to do. And the main purpose is so that we can be positioned to help somebody else. Have you ever just wanted to be in a position where you could help somebody else? And I'm not talking about financially only. That's not what I'm saying. See, a lot of times our purpose is sitting right there in the front of us, and we don't even know it. Because you know why? God is the only one that can give you purpose. Each and every one of us. Purpose, your purpose might not look like mine, but you have one. All of us do. Sometimes your purpose is just to make somebody else smile. Sometimes your purpose is just to make other people laugh, like comedians, Some of our purpose, yes, is to be able to help others financially. That too. But the overall purpose of whatever he gives you is that you please him in that purpose that he provided for you. Not being selfish, but knowing who gave you every opportunity that you have received in life. And through that, you found purpose in it. See, when we go and complete applications on these jobs, and a lot of times we do get turned down. And it don't matter how good our resume looks, doesn't matter how good of a conversation that we have with that employer, potential employer, because before you get that opportunity, you know what? It's just potential. But a lot of times we go in with the wrong purpose in mind. We're not going in like, if I if I get this break here, I want it because. You ever thought about why you do what you do? Because. And not in a selfish way, but in a way that you can fulfill the purpose that God gave you. See, when I went to work at the institution I work at right now, I always knew from a little girl, I didn't know if I would get the opportunity to work there. I just knew I wanted to work there. I knew I wanted to be in academia. And you know what? God put that on my heart when I was a little girl coming through, passing by there in the car with my dad, that I want to work there. Now you might say, well, that ain't nothing. You just want to go work on a job. What I'm looking at it, don't look at it as just a place of employment. I look at it as a place where God had purpose for me. Purpose for me to touch the lives of young people. To be able to help those who are in need of trying to get an education. That I may be positioned so that I could fulfill his purpose by whatever role he put me in. See, remember a couple weeks ago, I talked about having a King Kong vision. That is real. You got to have a King Kong vision. It don't matter what other people say. Because other people just like to hear themselves talking sometimes. Just saying just anything. But when you have purpose, you have to block that out. But you don't do it. God does it so that you don't hear all the negativity out there about what you are doing. Because God has purpose for whatever door he opens for you. I was using the scenario in having a discussion with my grandson, who is, targeted to graduate next year. Not this graduation year, not this term, but next 2022. Okay. And I was talking to him about whenever you're getting ready to go across the finish line on anything, make sure, listen to me closely, make sure you get your purposes lined up for that next step you're getting ready to take in life. Because in order to get to the next step, you got to go through a process to meet the purpose. Whatever I'm going to do today, I got to have purposes have to be in it, or I won't fulfill it because I don't have a goal. See, I continue to say this because it's heavy on my heart. I watch a lot of kids are getting ready to graduate from high school. There has been preparations by my technical director does the writing sessions. That's anybody can tune in on Jacqueline's Life Well Lived. Anybody can tune in to that on Tuesdays at 7:00. But the main thing with me is I would love for young people who are getting ready to go to college to tune in to that. And I'm going to tell you the reason why. Because working at an institution for 20 years and seeing the heartbreaks of students who they graduate and they so afraid, and their parents don't even know it. They don't even know it. They are afraid because they're in a new arena in life and nobody talked to them about it. We get so busy celebrating we forget to talk to them and ask them the questions on how are they feeling about ending one chapter and walking into another chapter. And this morning, I'm going to say, put this before you, whoever you are that's listening. Sit down right now, somewhere along the way before your child graduates, and talk to them about how they're feeling. And I can guarantee you most of them will say either two things: I don't know, or I'm scared. I don't know, or I'm scared. But you have to realize that right now, they don't know the purpose of going to college outside of one thing. That's what I'm supposed to do. That's all they know. But you have to have the conversations about purpose with them. I have saw so many students, and I'm talking about college students, that's in that next level. They bum out. And what I mean by that, they don't know what to do. They lost. They're scared. Because nobody sat down and had that real conversation with them about going to that arena of where now that professor in that classroom at the beginning of what's supposed to happen when I go there. See, some students, they jump up and they take it and they off and they just work through it. But everybody's not like that. And I can tell you the majority of the kids whose foot hit the grounds at these colleges and universities are afraid. That's why, no, you can't go and walk them from class to class. But you can have that conversation with them before they graduate from high school. At least we're in April. Next month, in the early part of June, lots of young people are going to be coming out of high school. And parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles, whoever, somebody needs to be having that conversation. I'm talking about a sit-down conversation with them about the purpose, not only of graduating. What is that purpose? Why did you want that so bad? And I can tell you a lot of them don't know. You don't work in education and not experience this and don't know this. Because you are looking at these young people every day. You have followed them through the public education system. Now they've got to make that next step. And they are full of anxiety. They're anxious. Some at a minimal level, but others at a high level. Because you know why? They really don't know the purpose yet. So you have to sit down with them. Me and you, as adults, we pretty much can say, oh, I know the purpose for that. Or I know why I want to do this, or why I want to do that, and why this makes me feel that way, and why I need to accomplish this, or why I need to close this out so I can get to this next thing. Young people don't know that. Sit down and talk to them and tell them not only the importance of getting a degree in that next level, but the importance of talking to their professors, the importance of knowing about what that syllabus means. What is a syllabus? Many of them don't know. That syllabus that they're going to receive from that college professor is a contract. They don't know the purpose of that. You have to tell them. And what you don't know, go find someone who does know. Because it's going to be upsetting to them as well as to you. because you just expect for them to know when they don't know. So has been on my heart, and not just recently. I always have that concern for young people when I see them year after year after year graduating, and they are totally lost because they don't know that purpose of going into that college system and talking and communicating with those professors, with the counselors, with the financial aid department. They don't even know what's available to them. Many of them don't know. They have to talk to somebody. What's the purpose of that office right there? That's why they have a college career day. That's why they want you to come to the college, to see the college, to meet the people there before that student arrives and began to attend that institution. And many of these children will go off to college and they don't have you there. So they need an understanding to calm down their fears. But us as adults, what is the purpose of having children and continuing through life with them? What is that purpose? So we can help them to reach those goals so that we can be that system that they need. What system? The support system. To ask the hard questions that they don't know to ask. To address issues that they don't know how to address. And that's just not with college. That's with everyday school system. The everyday public school system. These young people are trying to find their way. But let me tell you, as an educator, it's not easy. I remember waking up after graduating the next morning. I'm talking about from high school. All I knew I wanted to go to college. I knew that. But you know what I said? When I woke up the next morning, I said, what do I do next? What I'm supposed to do next? And just like that happened to me, it's still happening. It's still happening to young people today. Don't take for granted that they know what to do. All they know is that they're getting ready to graduate from high school. That's all they know. Nobody's talked to them about career exploration. What is it that you want to be? Many of them don't know. And I will tell you another thing that they don't know. And I won't, if you're a parent out there, whoever's going to be helping this young person to get into college, make sure, this is the number one thing, make sure when they go and talk to that counselor, before they get started in their coursework, that they get locked into a degree plan. They must get locked into a degree plan. Some universities and colleges call it a CPS. That's a candidacy plan of study. A lot of your universities use that terminology. Some institutions just say degree plan. It depends on what institution you attending. So keep these things in mind, because that too falls into that category of purpose. Why am I here? Then you give them, that's like giving them, this is your reasoning behind being here, is to take these courses so that it leads up to that degree that you're trying to obtain, to help you to get to a point in life where you can seize upon the moments of career opportunities out there, to get a job where you can support yourself and one day your family. See, those are Those are the things that you're trying to get to. The number one important thing is a conversation. We have to have conversations, not just with one another, but with our young people. And I mentioned earlier about the writing sessions, free. They don't cost you anything, free to go on and attend. On Jacqueline's Life Well Lived, Jacqueline has written 20 books and continuing to write. She know the different terms and styles of writing. But even if not her, start sitting them down, because I can tell you this right now. Most of the students who take what we call the TSI, that's the the state initiative. In other words, you got to take these courses. This is the Texas State Initiative. You got to take these courses, this test, it's called a TSI, because it helps to place them in the different levels of coursework going in. They need to see what their writing class, that first writing class that they need to be signed up for, that first math class that they need to be enrolled in. You understand what I'm saying? That helps them in their purpose. It all works together. You know, you needed that. They need that. And it's so important to get them along the way. Young people have to have that when they're transitioning, because English and math is the subjects that most of them struggle with. Most of them struggle with that. English and math. Then you have government. You have to have your state government, and which is your histories. You have to have that. It's things they have to have. And if nobody talks to them, how they gonna know? Because your government and your history classes, that's two different courses that the state of Texas say they have to have it. They have to have those Englishes. They have to have 1301. The professor that I had on last Wednesday, she taught English. She could tell you a lot of them don't do well in the first semester. There are those who do, but there are many who don't. So they have to have some preparation. And another thing is the anxiety. It's taking over the youth, the minds of the youth going into college. I can tell you that I have really bad testing anxiety. Really bad testing anxiety. And you know what? Every degree I've obtained, and I've obtained 3 of them, I had to test in areas. They have what they call a disability department on campus. Okay, that's part of your colleges and universities. I had to test in there. I couldn't test in the classroom with others because of my testing anxiety. And it's really real. Testing anxiety is really real. If it wasn't, I would tell you. But I have to test by myself. I cannot test in the rooms with everyone else. And I'm not going to go into detail about it. I'm just going to tell you it's real, and read up on it and talk to people who experience it. I'm a living testimony that testing anxiety is real. And a lot of you, your children are getting ready again to go into college, to go into universities, and they're going to be faced with that. And you need to know to tell that child, They have a disabilities department. If you have to go get signed up for that, you go. Because the ultimate goal and the purpose of going to that institution is not to stay there forever, it's to go there and complete. But in the process, they will get discouraged along the way. And we don't want that, because we want them to be successful. Just like you and I want to be successful at the things that we do. We want them to be that way too. Don't take for granted that they know. This is new to them. Going to a local college or going to a college or university out of state, they need to know that. And you need to be talking to them about that. Somebody in that family unit needs to talk to them and sit down and have that conversation of the next step and the purpose of that next step. Okay? I needed to share it, but I needed to share it in the way that God wanted me to share it, on purpose. Because we all live for a purpose. When we woke up this morning, God had a purpose for us when he gave us breath to see another day. God did that. You don't create breath on your own. God has to do that. And he does it for a purpose. When he gives you sight, he gives you sight for a purpose. Your hearing is for a purpose. Your kind heart is for a purpose. Your unselfishness is for a purpose. Your style of communication is for a purpose. Everything about you, your uniqueness, is for a purpose. Finding out your purpose took time. And some of us as adults are still struggling with it. So imagine how our young people feel. Have those conversations. Start having them now. Or what you're going to do is you're going to have a young person going into a new system of higher education, of higher learning, lost. And they'll end up giving up because they won't understand the purpose of it. Purpose is important. You know, I've had several entrepreneurs and continue to have them on my podcast. That too, it took people finding their purpose. Why do I want to do this? I know I want to do it. Why do I want to do this? And only you know. You do things because you have a passion for it, but you also have purpose in it. And in your purpose, I'm going to say this and I'm going to leave it alone. In your purpose, whatever you do, I'm going to leave this with you. You have to be bold. Be bold in it. Be authentic. Be original. Let me say those three things again. Whatever you do, whatever your purpose is, that you are walking it out right now, you are living it right now, be bold in it. Be authentic in it. And be original. You don't have to do it like somebody else. Whatever you do, you don't have to do it like somebody else. But be proud of what you're doing. Can you do that for me? Be proud of what you're doing. Be bold in what you're doing. Be authentic. Being an original. It's all important. It's a part of fulfilling your purpose. And as I mentioned earlier about my podcast, Electra James Inspirational Talks, it's not just that. It's a podcast that's connected to a broadcast with a purpose. What's that purpose? To provide an opportunity for everyday people to tell their stories. They come on to my podcast to tell their stories. You know why? Because so very often, everyday people are doing so many wonderful things, building legacy. That's your legacy. But when you don't get to tell your story, your legacy died with you. And it just looked like you didn't do anything. And then you hear people get up and start talking and start saying, oh, she did this. And I remember when she did that, or he did this, or he did that. And nobody never knew that. So God says, Electra, I want to use you to create this podcast, to connect it to a broadcast, which is mine is OBS. That's my broadcast system. So I take the podcast, I connect it through Zoom, I connect it with a broadcast that connects for a purpose when we connect to YouTube. Then your purpose is put out amongst the world because you tell your story on things that you are passionate about, things that you worked hard to succeed in, businesses that you have accomplished many years, work that you have done, lives that you have touched, the differences that you have made in the lives of others. Stop hiding your story. Stop hiding your story. Even if you never come on my podcast, even if you go on another podcast, whatever you do, if you never go, get your story out there. If you never go on a podcast, that just might not be your thing, but get your story out there. Because guess what? At the end of the day, we all are books walking around. And some people somebody's reading your story how they want to because they don't know it. So when people don't know you, they just make a you up. People that don't know Electra, they just make an Electra up. They just say that's who I am because they don't know me. People that don't know you, they just say, well, that's just Jackie. You know, they don't really know you. They just say things they don't know. So they make a Jackie up. They make a Moretta up. They make a Janice up. They make a Brandon up. They make a Derek up. They make you up. I'm just saying. People create you how they see you because they never heard your story. They never had that opportunity to have a peek at who you are. It's so many things about you. It's so many things you've accomplished, whoever I'm talking to. So many goals that you have just went beyond the pale on. And did some wonderful things. But don't nobody know your story. You don't actually have to be rich to have a story. You don't. I was telling my friend on yesterday about something that God had showed me about her. God said, you richer than a millionaire. You are richer than a millionaire. You richer than a millionaire. You know why? All them things that he has given to you. And it didn't even take no money. Your personality didn't take you no, it didn't cost you no money. You got a personality like no other. Your kindness, your talents, your integrity, your passion, your hard work, your love for the less fortunate. You richer than a millionaire. Because God gave you those things. Only thing, difference between you and the millionaire, you just didn't get discovered. That's the only thing that separates you. And yeah, they got some money. That's why they millionaires. But isn't that awesome for God to speak that into you through his Holy Spirit, to tell someone, you're richer than a millionaire. And he's saying that to you, he's saying that to me. Take a look at it. Just take a look at it. You, whoever you are, you richer than a millionaire. You might not have that millionaire's money, but you got some stuff that took you to levels in life that's unbelievable. There are some things in life that you accomplished that people only wish they had that talent. They wish they had that personality. They wish they had those writing skills. They wish they had those mathematical skills. They wish they had those communication skills. They wish they had that kindness that you have. They wish they had your level of integrity. They wish that. See, we so busy idolizing other people, and you got people out there want to be like you. You busy trying to idolize another athlete, and you got people out there want to be like you. They want to be you. I never forget that. My brother told his daughter, this was years ago. He told his daughter, you want to be like that girl? That girl wish she was you. She wish she was you. Never forget that. And you know what? God is saying the same thing to us. Stop wanting to be everything somebody else was. Stop idolizing people you don't even know. Because when you look at it, sometimes them people wish they had your peace. It's some people, they billionaires, and they the saddest people you ever want to meet. And you don't know until they die, and then they tell their story. Somebody else tell it. You tell your own story. Just be the best you that you can be. Because you got a purpose too. God, he the only one. Isn't that something? God is the only one that can give us purpose. Tap into it. Enjoy it. Live, relish in it. Be bold, be authentic, be original. Can you do that? Because you richer than a millionaire right now. You just don't know it. You richer than a millionaire. Look at some of those values. And thank God for it. Because you got something that people wish they had. And the only reason why you have it is because God said that's what he wanted for your life. That's your purpose. And nobody else is conducted to do it like you. People do their thing their own way because they original. And you are too. You are too. You're richer than a millionaire. Keep that King Kong vision and don't let nobody knock it down. Fulfill your purpose. You got a purpose. And if you don't know what it is, talk to God. He'll let you know. Okay? I just wanted to share what he laid on my heart to share with you on this morning. Purpose. That's a beautiful word. Purpose. Keep that in the front of it. Keep that in your frontal lobe of your brain. What your purpose is. All right? Before I get off this morning, I wanted to remind you all, on this Tuesday, you have Jacqueline Sarver, her writing sessions continuing at 7 o'clock, every Tuesday at 7 o'clock on Jacqueline Sarver, Jacqueline's Life Well Lived. So I posted on my Facebook page just in case you want to go on there and look at where you're trying to go on YouTube to attend those writing sessions. Anybody can. It's just an hour-long session, okay? And she's talking on different writing skills, and she go more in depth about writing than me. She talk about the dialogues, all of that, how to set up an essay, all of that, okay? Then we have Miss Wynn coming on. Linda Wynn is going to be my guest on this week on the podcast. I'm going to be interviewing her. She's going to be talking about, she had been an entrepreneur over 30 something years, providing childcare. She ran her own childcare facility. Did a wonderful job. Both of my grandchildren attended it. And she can tell you so much about, state, federal guidelines, all of those kind of things. But hey, that's her story. I let her tell her own story. I'm excited to have her on. I'm always excited about my guests coming on. I'm excited when people just say, I don't mind coming on to your podcast. I'm excited about it. And you know why? Because my podcast is connected to a broadcast for and with a purpose. Hey, think about that with what you're doing, okay? And that's going to be on Wednesday at 6 o'clock, this Wednesday. Again, Miss Linda Wynn. I just pray that you guys would tune in. Go to my YouTube channel, Electra James Inspirational Talks. Subscribe to my channel if you would like. I would love for you to. And look here, y'all. I'm constantly learning too, because somebody told me you never asked for people to subscribe to your channel. I say, oh, I didn't know you're supposed to do that. See there, God just put people in your path to tell you what you don't know. Okay, he gonna help me fulfill this purpose. So if you can, if you would like, I would love for you to subscribe to my channel, because I got a lot of interviews coming up, and I'm so excited about it. And one thing about this platform that I do have, that God has blessed me to have, is to provide information. It's an information platform that you get to not only hear people's stories, but you get in the chat section and you ask any questions that you might have of the person being the guest who's being interviewed. And so, again, if you get a chance, go on, subscribe to Electra James Inspirational Talks. I would love to have you on as well for an interview, and you get to tell your story. You have 30 minutes in which to tell your story. And then within those last 20 minutes, because we're on there for 50 minutes now, you get to you answer any questions that people might have for you. I read them off from the second computer, and you get to answer questions for the people. I don't know. I'm just going on and on and on, talking about my purpose, right? So guess what? When you get on, you're going to feel the same way because you're going to want to talk about your purpose. You're going to want to talk about those wonderful things that you have done, those things that you would love to see other people do, just accomplishments and just all sorts of things that's coming up. You know your own story. I don't have to tell it. Well, I'm going to go on and get off of here. Y'all have a wonderful day. And it's always a beautiful thing to come on and talk with you all on Mondays and Tuesday mornings. Okay, so, before I get off of here, keep in mind, mark on your calendars, I'm going to be, a scholarship was developed in my late husband's name, Michael James Scholarship Fund, and I'm going to be doing the presentations on June. Let me look at my calendar right quick so you can mark your calendars. I'm going to invite the parents and the student, the recipients of the scholarship on June 2nd. June 2nd. And so it will again be on we'll be doing it on the podcast so that you can tune in with and see the young people and their parents as we talk about this wonderful thing that has been in place now since my husband passed away, late husband passed away, the Michael James Scholarship Fund, because I wanted to do something along with others from the church in which he had pastored over 32 years to keep his legacy alive. You know, that's part of his legacy. He was big on education. And so he would do such wonderful things for the young people who would graduate from high school to help them. And he pushed that. And so this is where the scholarship fund stemmed from, to give a little bit of something to students who graduate, from high school. And that's just to keep up a part of his legacy of things that he's done. He's done a lot of things, traveling and doing street ministry and things like that. But a big thing with him was education. It really was the educating of the youth, helping them get to the next level in their lives. So that will take place on June 2nd. Okay. But anyways, I've talked enough this morning. I will talk to you all later on tomorrow morning. Y'all have a wonderful day. Now I'm going to get ready to get up and go to work.